My men out here. My men out here. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's get this thing right. Movement of men, like I said, all day long. Let's talk about some stuff. Let's talk about the discourse that we see that's going on in this world right now. You know, the thing that I really can't seem to wrap my head around. The thing that is just, it boggles my mind, is you see so much anger with so many people about what other folks are doing, what other groups are doing. Some of that stuff may be warranted, yeah. Some of that stuff is like, why don't you just leave the stuff alone? But as we keep on talking about this pandemic of men, on this loneliness trial, on this loneliness road, if you are one of these individuals are getting super angry and super triggered about any and everything that's out here in this world, you're watching all this nonsense on social media and you're getting triggered by seeing whatever things that folks are posting, you got to take a look at yourself and figure out, why are you so angry? What's the issue? You know, there's that saying about misery loves company, and you gotta start putting two and two together that maybe some of the folks, a lot of the folks, majority of the folks that are saying that they're lonely are the ones that are in misery. And so, because you have nothing going on, or because you have these grievances that you're talking about that may be a little bit questionable, maybe the reason why you're angry is because of this misery that you're in. And when you're in this misery, you got no other choice but to be triggered by all of these different types of things that you see that seems to be this heightened level of vitriol with folks. Heightened level of vitriol with folks. And again, I'm only talking about the men. My issue as far as with the men of why they're so angry. They're angry at the women. They're angry at, like I said, all these other different groups. And someone who's filled with a life in better words than what I can come up with, filled with just regular life, doesn't have the time to just sit around and be angry at every and anything that's going on outside of that person's life. And so it really starts to press upon you to ask the question to yourself, why are you so angry? Why is it that these commentators or these influencers can get you so angry with presenting their content? And whatever the subject matter is, that starts to trigger you and it gets you angry. For men such as myself, none of that stuff I'm even thinking about. I may see a lot of different things that come across my pages on the platforms that I'm on, and primarily it's only really YouTube. But I may see these things that come across, but then I tune it out. You know why? Because my mind is wired in a way where none of that stuff is significant to me. None of that stuff makes me no mind. It makes me no difference. Like Jay-Z used to say, what you eat don't make me squat. That's the way you're supposed to be. None of this stuff, unless somehow you have some type of direct experience with this subject matter or a particular group or whatever, that you have some type of personal connection with. If none of that stuff is in your life, if you're not around any of these things that are triggering you, then why are you allowing that stuff to trigger you? Especially when we're talking about the men who are saying that they are lonely. The men that are saying that they're lonely, why are you letting any of this stuff trigger you? That means you got way too much time on your hands. And you don't have nothing else going on. So something has to change. Something has to change. You have to change, because all these other things are going to continue to trigger you. They're always going to be out here. You know, sometimes, probably in your own life, sometimes there may be things that people are talking about. Like, for instance, there's a war going on in these other countries right this moment. There's fighting, there's killing, there's all types of, slaughter, displacement, all these things that are going on. You won't know anything about that occurring unless you turn on the news and try to look to see what's going on. It's not happening where you're at. It's not happening where you're at. But you're not triggered by that. Why? Because it's not that significant. Not saying that people shouldn't care, but the thing is that it's out of sight, out of mind. You don't see it. You're not around it. So why is it that you're looking at content and you're digesting this content, and whatever that subject matter is, whatever that influencer brings up, you don't see any of that around your own neighborhoods, in your own personal space? You don't see any of that stuff. It's like this self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you want to be engaged, like you're missing something. You want to be engaged with these arguments. You want to feel like you're a part of the herd or whatever. When in actuality, what you should be focusing on is how do you get and how do you break this loneliness spell? That's what you should be working on. That's what you should be focusing on. None of this other stuff matters. None of this other stuff makes any difference in your life. So again, I for the life of me, I can't understand why men are so angry. I know why. The lack of self-control, the lack of self-discipline. I know why. I'm just trying to get you, if you happen to be one of these folks who are in that category of being in this loneliness pandemic, I'm trying to get you to think to yourself, why is it that something that is not in your personal space, your 5-mile proximity, 10-mile proximity, whatever, stuff that's going on in other states, in other cities, nowhere near you, that you feel the need to embroil yourself and to get yourself worked up into stuff that doesn't impact you at all. It doesn't impact you at all. Even with the stuff that's going on with kids. If you have a kid, if you're a father, and there's things that are going on in all these other different school systems, that if it's not happening in your school system, why are you anticipating that, well, if it happened, if is a big if. That's a big word. It doesn't mean that it's gonna happen. You wait till the stuff happens and then you deal with it then. You adjust to it then. You don't keep yourself on edge and stay in this heightened level of having to be reactive or proactive. You don't do that. So let us work on trying to separate yourself from things that are completely out of your control, that are out of your sight, that are not in your personal space, and take that energy, take all those emotions and that passion and all the other stuff, all these things that are not making a difference in your life right now, and let's start putting it towards the things that are going to make you better, make you more productive, make you less lonely. Let's start doing that. As men, let's start doing that. Because all these other folks that are triggering you, again, like I said before, it's just good business for them. It's good business for them. It's not for you. It's good business for them. They're going to continue to keep on going. They're going to continue to keep on making their money. And as long as they got an audience, they're going to continue to feed that audience that information, that kind of content, those trigger points, and all this other stuff. But you don't have to fall for that. You don't have to fall for that. You got other things that you got to take care of within yourself. Get to a point where you have the fullness. You're nourished. Your stomach is full. Because you know what happens when you eat a lot of food? You ain't thinking about nothing else except for you want to get something, you want to go to sleep. When you got enough food, you got enough nourishment, nothing else matters. Because you're sustained. You have all that you need. Fill your cup. Fill your cup. The little Asian, philosophy stuff. Fill your cup. Because when you fill your cup, then you don't have enough to keep filling it. You don't have enough to keep putting in that cup, because then it's going to overflow. Fill your cup. Allow your cup to be there. Drink it down. And as you drink it down, you pour more into there. Refill yourself. But don't sit here with mad cups of whatever the liquid is that you have in your cup, and you keep on hoarding it because you don't know what's going to happen. You keep on hoarding it because you're anticipating that, somebody's saying that there's going to be a drought. This stuff is going to be in low supply. So you hoard it. You keep it there. And it does nothing. It wastes away. It goes bad. It spoils or whatever, because that moment never came. Those moments may never come. The moments that you're triggered by, they may never come to you. So why have yourself on guard? Let's get this together. Movement of Men. I'm going to catch y'all on the next note. Peace out.